had our G League Ignite preseason game. Another season, another draft cycle, another year where G League Ignite plays a random foreign team with a top prospect from France. And this one was really fun as well. It wasn't like Scoot Wemby, but Ron Holland, my projected or my number one guy in this class, was really ridiculous and showed a lot of good stuff. So we're just gonna react to these clips like the Giddy video, but these aren't just highlights. This is like a full picture. Kashigi, big shout out to him. Post these videos to have defensive rotations and potential assists and all that good stuff, so you can really get the full picture. It's one of the best draft resources out there, period. But we're just gonna react to Ron. I watched this game live, but I wasn't watching so intently here. I missed the first beginning of this game, and looks like a simple miscommunication here, where I don't know, that stuff's just gonna happen, especially with the challenges of actually playing an NBA defensive scheme, which none of these players have ever done. It's a huge leap. I really like this creation initially, and this is something that I've noted with Ron and I've noticed throughout this game. Even is shooting hesitance at times, where I need him shooting this. You need Ron, if he's going to be an on-ball creator, to be shooting that kind of shot, but he squanders his advantage. And good idea here, obviously, but just Alex Sarr's length is too much. Sarr is incredible, obviously. Go watch my video on him if you haven't. He's so fucking sick. But Ron, that aggression is going to be important. Looks like just a rotation there. Ron working at the nail is going to be very, very good. I mean, this is more dribble handoff and such. But the active hands, defense is obviously his main strength. The active hands, his ability to stick with multiple guys, he's always going to be disrupting. And if you're having a loose handle, or if you're not very strong with the ball in those situations, Ron is just going to punish you. Good transition take. I would imagine that Ron is going to be a pretty good foul drawer, given his awesome strength, explosion, flexibility for his driving upside. There's a classic Ron Holland rotation. These kind of low man backside rotations, I think, give Ron some real rim protection, wing upside, which is hugely important, obviously, in today's league, where he's so quick getting outside the circle, getting position, forcing a bad shot. It's a really awesome defensive trait of his. Not great, Ron. You should probably not run the guy over. Oh yeah, this play was great. We see Ron's burst is going to be quite solid, especially when he doesn't have to deal with guards. This is an amazing block, a great play to get that off. Even Ron with a nice scoop finish. That's just great timing. But we see Ron against the bigger guy being able to get super low and flexible, win right here, and then needs to take another dribble or be more explosive in the situation. But I think that from a process standpoint is really nice, especially given the main kind of concerns with him, or I guess, or questions, or how much can he really work as a primary creator, how much can he handle, how much can he work in transition here, which I definitely think Ron is going to be able to handle a transition handling workload, at least. At the moment, he could probably do that, just because of how unique and fluid and coordinated his handle is in the first place. I believe this was a 3. Yes, I remember this. The threes were looking solid. This one did not go in, of course, and there were some bad misses. There's going to be some really good shots later, but you can see the shot is a little stiff. Ron's release is kind of hitched, and the lower body's definitely inconsistent, and there's a lot of off misses. So it seems like there's going to be good mechanical, there's going to be mechanical stuff to clean up, but there's also plenty of reason for optimism. Which we'll get into. More incredible defense here. The ability to immediately stick this switch and deflect showcases his length, showcases his instincts. This is, again, an NBA level defensive play, something that NBA guards or guard defenders do all the time. And Ignite clearly is going to give Ron all of the most difficult all the most difficult matchups on defense. He's going to be guarding point guards, he's going to be guarding star wings, and that is obviously good for him because that's what he's going to be doing, and that's the whole reason teams are going to be really, or the main reason that he's going to be a number one guy. This is a play I remember watching live that intrigued me. As I talked about before, there's talked about before, excuse me, there's not really even much of a look at the rim before he pulls up, which is good. Which the pull up is really nice, but we don't even see Ron like up fake or pump there. And I think the shooting aggression, the shooting willingness, the ability to make defenses threatened by his closeout is going to be important. But of course, he hits the pull up there, looks very smooth there off the dribble, and definitely something of his off the dribble jumpers in this game, especially looking very smooth, which of course was great to see. Ron in transition, he's going to be great. Another stop rotation here. He's just so aware on defense, high level awareness, high level spatial court mapping on like processing, understanding, where he knows that like this guy gets beat, slides over, like even though like, his man was still in motion. Like this isn't like a stationary situation like standing from the weak side. This is a dynamic, moving situation, and yet Ron Holland still knows exactly where to be. And I got back cut a little there, but Matas saved his ass, which I assume Matas is going to do a lot this year as well, because Matas is also a ridiculous, or Matas I think is a ridiculously good defender. Good effort, good idea, but I do think Ron, like there are moments when he just needs to like trust his teammates a little more. Like he can play like defensive hero ball almost. I mean it works like all of the time, but like based on the information it has here, like Matas should be able to step, and you can like work on rotating lower, stopping a pass, or just kind of stay put more. But he goes for the steal, almost gets it, of course, which is awesome. And he was right in this situation because Matas also played this poorly. But I mean, like a little thing and like a little defensive tendency that maybe he cleans up, or maybe it just doesn't matter because he's going to be that good at playmaking and that good at impacting defensively. This was an awesome drive. I love this usage of like a high weave, like in motion handoff to get Ron again. Like they had like a big guarding him, and like he's gonna be able to like play those defensive roles because of his strength and his explosion and his footwork and all of that. But the bigs aren't gonna be able to guard him. Like they are not going to be able to run with him downhill, and he is going to give a lot of them problems. And that's going to be really, really great for his defensive versatility, of course, being a key factor in what makes him a top prospect. Let's see what Ron is cooking. I don't remember this play. Oh, yes, I do. That was great. This is like not a Ron Holland play, at least not at the moment. But he's cut off. You see, I mean, he is cut off, but he also kind of isn't. Like he probably could have won to the rim. You see how strong he is, how low he gets his shoulder. Like he probably could have just like kept driving and got a layup, but he stops on a time snatch back step three. That is, oh my god. Ron is honestly probably like even better than like one of these guys who I feel like I'm gonna underestimate because of his like some of his offensive and like creation limitations, but it's just ridiculously good in so many ways. This play again we see showcasing the burst against a big. It's really not a very fair matchup at this point. Ron is abusing that mismatch as he should. I mean, one of like the best like heuristics is just like, does that guy look way too good to be there, or like does he obviously look like a star? Like sometimes it's just obvious. Like you watch like high school like LeBron or whatever, and like that's obvious. You just know. It's like, do they just look like that guy? It's obviously unscientific and you shouldn't like totally rely on it, but I think it does matter to some extent. It's like Ron like losing his handle there. There are like creation weaknesses that's what, like those are the ones that I mentioned. But he might just be so good that like he looks very dominant in basically all of his games because of his crazy motor and like competitiveness and stuff. I don't have up like there's a clip of him like trash talking like in FIBA against Spanish kids, and it's hilarious, but you should go find that. But Ron, I like this little pump fake, but oh wow, Sar with an amazing block. Sar was also awesome in this game. Excuse my tangent and my rambling, but yeah, Sar was great. Not very aggressive on the boards tonight, not very good, but also not super Ron Holland like normally. So I guess I'm not really worried. It's one game. Another one of these like weave DHO. This time against Sar. This is a much more fair matchup. Someone who certainly has the mobility to stay with Ron Holland, another top pick contender. But again, we see Holland explode off of that back foot. slip that ball with like a floating touch. I really do buy his touch. Like he's a great shooter, like on the move, moving very quickly, like fast momentum into the baseline and just soft touch off the glass. It's really good stuff as well. This was another, was this rotation? Oh no, that's just him plucking a loose ball and resetting the offense. Ron has been excellent in this game, as you can see. There's him going in for a rebound, which is more like what he normally does. The closeout defense for Ron is like, it's crazy, like calling it a weakness. Like someone being able to at 6'6", like however much he weighs long, be able to like change direction, slide your foot like that, even if he does give up a little ground at the end. It's not like Josh Green level closeout defense, or like Mikhail at times, but or like Derek White or whatever, Caruso. But it's, I don't know, it's extremely good, and he obviously fouls at the end there. Probably didn't need to, but it's just like he doesn't really have defensive weaknesses, or like he doesn't have ones that are going to be seriously impactful. We see him switch onto a guard, ultimately like not that threatening of a drive, but Ron, active hands, active feet, very difficult. Oh buddy, oh no, I hope he was okay. That looked like it hurt. Great pass fake. This I love, even though like as I mentioned, like the misses can be bad at this point. There's a lot of like in valgus here, which is not great for his stability, and like right there, that is not good for your balance and for injuries long term. But point being, I'm not a shot doctor mechanic person, but I have been around a little bit. But point being, I love like aggressive pass fake, reading that this closeout defender is kind of expecting a swing, especially because like the John Jenkins is a way better shooter. But I love the confidence to pump and immediately shoot, even if it doesn't go in. That's what I was talking about earlier, that I think that is more important than like making the odd wide open three, because it shows a willingness to actually like threaten the defense. This is probably my favorite rep of the entire game for him. This is like a showcase of like his peak, how scary he could be like as a half court pick and roll creator, rejecting this screen. The handle, like he lost the handle a little bit, but I love the creativity to like snake back really early, noticing that you got that guy going. He's so explosive, rams through this defender with his strength. This is really special driving stuff. Like he is explosive. He's creating easy advantages on the ball in the half court with his handle and his strength and his explosion. And it's honestly more than I kind of expected for Ron this early. Obviously, it's just one game. And shout out Tyler Smith, who I really enjoy. And I'm excited to watch him this year because I think he's like perennially underrated. But point being, yeah, Ron, amazing, unreal instincts all the way to the rim. Going to be a monster free throw guy, as we discussed earlier. I think that's going to be one of his main avenues to be a very efficient offensive player. He gets away with being jumpy here. Great awareness, switching, recognition. I mean, like, definitely would get punished for a play like that in the league, but it doesn't really matter at this point. But again, I think the rim protection upside is there for sure. It's going to be technical stuff to clean, but he's just so good in, like, terms of awareness and instincts that I think the rim protection technique will probably come with time for him, as it does for a lot of young players who aren't the best technically. Another drive against a big. You really cannot do this. Even this guy looks a little shorter, but we see Ron like set up. His handle is looking quite good in this game. Honestly, more advanced than I remembered it being for sure. Obviously, one game, but I love him like setting up and then hard planting with his back foot. We see again how flexible he is for a 6'6", 6'7" guy. Goes all the way in. Would like to see some more lefty finishes, but we're nitpicking at this point, if that's what I'm complaining about from this game. If we're complaining about not enough lefty finishes, you know Ron did something right, and he absolutely did. He was phenomenal in this game. Another just crazy instinct steal. He makes people like think that they are safe and that players can pass and they're not gonna be in danger of having the ball stolen, but you just never are, and he lobbed it up. And oh my god, I love players who do the Cade or Trey thing where they jump with the players. It's one of my favorite basketball things, when players jump with each other. It is really special. I love it. And again, just an example of how like everywhere Ron Holland's impact is going to be. He impacts every facet of the game, and even though I don't think he's like a tier 1 S tier creator prospect because of his lack of creation tools or maybe lack of one elite like generational defensive tool, but like this is an incredible like complementary piece for basically any team at this point based on the projection that I have of him. I mean, at this point, not just this game, of course. Really nice. Like he's a solid passer. We see him pause and hit like a standstill skip to crack open the defense, which is really good. Obviously not on the move or anything, but again, kind of nitpicking at this point. It was still impressive. And like at this point, it's like, I don't know. I think they're up 20. I'm not super worried about effort-related mistakes like that, especially with a player who has like the noted motor and like insane personness in the best way that Ron Holland does. So that's not something I'd really be thinking about at this point. And of course, we see some rebounds too. I mean, that one just kind of popped out too. But yeah, this is about the end, I think. Ron Holland, oh, great pass. Again, we see like the stationary, simple passes, very much a reactive passer. He's not like creating passing windows, manipulating, but he is going to punish defensive mistakes. So that's kind of all you really need out of him at this point, I think. But yeah, this was a really impressive performance. Amazing prospect game overall. I think Ron showed like good of absolutely every part of his game. And there were minor things to clean up for sure, but I don't think anything that major. And there was everything. There was creation, there was shot making, there was passing, there was on and off ball defense. It was really good stuff. And I'm very, very excited to watch Ron throughout the season.